Maybe I will sit. Okay. Yes. Good. So, I wish you welcome for this press meeting with His Excellency Mr. Joseph Nyuma Boakai, Vice President of Liberia. It's a real pleasure to welcome you here today for this first meeting with our Swiss colleagues from the media. I know you have visited Geneva sometimes before, but it's first time as a Vice President. I know also that you will face elections in the coming months in Liberia, and I think you are also a candidate. We wish you good, our best wishes for that. And so it's a pleasure to hear you about the development of Liberia. We know that the country has crossed difficult times 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and now it's recovering thanks to your efforts, and it's also important for us to know what happened exactly, and also in Western Africa. So, and also welcome to all the Liberian delegation. So before to give you the floor, I wish to ask you to sign our golden book. Okay. And maybe I can give a little souvenir that the Swiss knife, it brings luck. It cuts the enmity, you know, it cuts the, yeah.
Just sign? Or
just sign, yeah.
Where do I sign?
Yeah, here. Yeah.
Here or the podium?
No, it's here. It's quite okay. It's not big gift, so there is no. $20. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot. Oh, sorry. So that's little souvenir from Switzerland for you.
Thank you.
And so I open the floor, and after we can have exchanges and questions. Yeah. Please.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Liberia and Switzerland have come a long way, and the two nations have and continue to enjoy good relations since 1954, when Switzerland opened a consulate in Monrovia, which was followed by a consulate general in 1957, and in 1965, an embassy of Switzerland was opened. We are glad to note that in 2011, Switzerland and Liberia reached an agreement for the cancellation of Liberia's debt to Switzerland, for which the government and the people of Liberia remain very grateful. During the civil crisis in Liberia, Switzerland provided humanitarian aid, and since 2004 has supported the reconstruction of our country. On the front of economic cooperation, Swiss imports from Liberia total CHF 2.3 million in precious stones, and export to Liberia amounted to CHF 23.4 million, mainly vehicles and products of watchmaking industry. As far back as the 19th century, the already independent state of Liberia attracted the interest of Swiss merchants, explorers, and opponents of slavery. Growth in the trade led to the opening of the Swiss consulate in 1954. Liberia and Switzerland have consummated a number of agreements aimed at boosting our economy and strengthening trade. Until the Civil War in 1990s, Liberia was one of the African countries with which Switzerland was most involved. Trade stagnated from the 1980s onward. In 1988, there were around 10 Swiss companies opening in Liberia. During this brief visit to Switzerland, I am looking forward to talks with the Swiss government, officials including our counterpart, my counterpart, Alain Besset, at the Federal Building in Bern. Just as important will be the interaction with the Swiss business entrepreneurs, as well as discuss investment opportunities that abound in Liberia. Our government, a few years ago, made a decision to create framework that will enhance public relation partnership models in order to accelerate the delivery of infrastructure progress and diversity in the Liberian economy. We eagerly look forward to getting Swiss businesses involved in that process. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I'm counting on you to help us get the message out that we are here to welcome you back to Liberia, the country you know very well in time past. We want you to come and take advantage of the investment opportunities. I want to thank you very much, and we would take a few questions. We are open to that, and we thank you for being our guest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President, for this kind introducing words. I think, that's good to remember the relations between Switzerland and Liberia. Just a question from my side. What now do you expect from Switzerland? What are your main expectation, ideally speaking?
Well, a country like Switzerland, we believe, is known for quality, and we have a society of young people that we like to be empowered in technology. So we look forward to Switzerland investing in areas that will give technology to our young people, areas in which that Liberia has the resources that can be available for Swiss entrepreneurs to take advantage of.
Yeah. But there is no embassy now from Switzerland, I guess, in Monrovia. It's where the ambassador of Switzerland is located in Abidjan. Yes, and he covered all the region. Yeah. So.
Well, at least we do have here some representation, so we can establish a contact by which we can encourage. Normally, maybe at some level, maybe honorary counselor, somebody who can represent Swiss interests.
Yeah, okay. No, we have a Chamber of Commerce, Swiss Charm, it's the name, for Switzerland, Africa, Chamber of Commerce. I am a member personally,
That's good.
but it's covering lots of countries, and it's not so, but it's...
And it's fortunate that you also have Liberian connection.
Exactly. Maybe I will ask him to meet you tomorrow. Yeah. No, I think I visited Liberia 10 years ago, just after the Civil War, and now it's recovering fast thanks to your efforts. Yes, maybe a question, Robert. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Vice President, could you please give us some information about how is the situation regarding electricity and power, furniture and water furniture system in Liberia at the moment, please? Thank you.
We started with virtually no electricity in Monrovia, except that we was powered by private generators. At that time, we started with small power and was mainly to service social communities as well as communities that we felt were less fortunate. Today, and also street lights. Today, and just about a couple of months ago, we dedicated our hydropower, which is now functioning. We are now going around with connecting various communities, private homes, and industries. So there is power, and it's on the increase because in addition to the hydro, we have a couple of HFO machines that are supplying power to various communities. So we are getting there.
And the water system?
But in the water system also is functioning. Monrovia is an old city. In addition to the fact that the water system was destroyed during the war, we have tried to replace broken pipes to connect major pipes that bring water to the city. Today, you can say in most of the communities in Monrovia, there's water. And all of these are on the increase. As we connect more and more, we try to pump more and more water into the city.
Thank you. Thanks for the question and answer. I have maybe two other questions. What are now the main economic partners of Liberia? There are United States with the diaspora there and also the historical ties. But when I was there visiting there was China also, because I remember you got some oil, just discovered some oil resources, and the ambassador of China was offering his help to develop that. How is it now?
But the oil sector is not predominantly Chinese. Chinese are involved in iron ore, but we do have American companies like ExxonMobil, Chevron. They are involved in the oil sector. So the other sectors that are on the rise, the fishing industry, we are encouraging. Liberia has a 350 miles coastal line. So we have a lot of opportunities for fishing. We like to also push the area of agriculture because we are endowed with abundance of rainfall, good soil, and agriculture. We for now is our main focus. You know that there was an American company from 1926 in the rubber sector, Firestone, although it's now a Japanese company, but The rubber sector also has a lot of potential and in the value addition. And we believe that Liberia still has 45% of the forest reserve in West Africa. So the opportunities for investment are enormous.
Thanks. Another question about the security, because as we know, there are pretty countries, not exactly neighboring Liberia, but some problems in Nigeria with Boko Haram, with Mali, and so on. And as you had this civil war, so how is the security situation, and what do you think? Are you afraid from your neighbors or not?
Liberia has very good relation with our neighboring countries. As a matter of fact, there's a joint security with the neighboring countries within the Mano River Union, our immediate neighbors. And you know that we had the UN working with us in the security sector, 15,000 strong, but over the period they have been drawn down. Security is mostly in the hands of Liberians, but still we do have the UN portion of it. We do have American involvement in the training of our securities. And because of the good relation we have with our neighbors, there are no threats. We do believe that Liberia is one of the safest within that region. We are so far away from terrorism at the moment, but we are not complacent about it. We are vigilant because we are within the environment. But security is not a serious matter in Liberia.
Yeah, that's good news. Yeah. And maybe a few words about the domestic political life. I know you are facing elections. There are many parties, so you are candidates. So what is the situation on the domestic front and political life and so on? We know now there is democracy and.
Well, Liberia is aware of the crucial role this election will play because we have had 2 elections that were peaceful, transparent, and we know that Liberia will need to make sure that this election is free, fair, and transparent. Now, the confusion that people have...
When it will take place?
In October.
In October, yeah.
The confusion that people have is that Liberia indeed had 22 political parties. But we do not have 22 candidates. Up to now, political parties have been set up. We know that not 22 of them are going to put up candidates. But we believe that this election that is coming, Liberians are aware that it has to be free, fair, transparent. It has to be able to demonstrate that Liberia is ready for democracy, is ready for investment, is ready for continuity with the peace that we have enjoyed so far. So we are very optimistic that this election is going to be peaceful.
Okay, so we had the opportunity to receive Mrs. Sirleaf Johnson here many times. She was visiting Geneva from time to time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so thanks for the answer. I don't know if there are other... Maybe we have the chance to have the ambassador of Namibia. I don't know if you wish to take the floor. Push the button, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A warm welcome to His Excellency, the Vice President of Liberia. Geneva is a good place to be, and I hope you have a good stay here. I know that Liberia is the oldest republic in Africa, and I admire the resilience of the Liberian people. After every catastrophe, you are coming back. Now, I know that like many nations or countries in the world, you have or you battle with unemployment. My country is too. Do you have any specific programs to overcome these problems or plans? I thank you.
Oh, like other countries, we also have the problem of unemployment because of our youthful population, and because there's a backlog of young people who went through difficult times that need to be trained and need to be positioned for employment. But we also believe that there are opportunities for this to happen, that the young people there, first and foremost, we need to build their capacities to be able to position themselves for employment. And some of those things that we're doing is to provide for them some vocational training for those who now we believe have passed school age but are ready to work. We believe that one of the sectors that will be able to absorb most of our young people will be the agriculture sector. What I see as a need in Liberia urgently is to build our infrastructure, build roads that will open up opportunities for agriculture, for mining. We are very much endowed with resources, but these resources can only be made available if we can open up the country. And Liberia will definitely have not major problem for job if we were to open up the country, which I believe is first and foremost, then plus make sure that there's electricity for industries. So yes, we all have employment problem, but we have a lot of possibilities to create jobs.
Thanks for the question. I don't know if there are more questions. Maybe a last one. As I visited also Africa as member of this Swiss African Chamber of Commerce, I was surprised because it's easier to the links between Monrovia and Europe or United States or Abidjan and France, they are easier than the links between Abidjan and Monrovia, you know. So the connections between the neighboring country are not so easy. So what is your, I don't know, expectation about the integration of regional economies, which is also important to, as European Union, to be a strength or to have some power in the region? What, how are this?
A few weeks ago, we had a conference on infrastructure that is intended to connect 7 countries within the region with 6-lane highway. And we believe this will open up the region, not just economically, but that within the region there will be free movement and there will be easy access. And we believe that this is a trend that we want to encourage because as close as we are, we stay far apart. For example, I was going to Mali one time and I took 12 hours. I have to stop and stop and stop.
Exactly.
But the process is underway to do this connection, and we hope that we'll go beyond talking, since in fact we have engineers that have now been commissioned to begin to think about designing that connection, and I think the connectivity is necessary for development.
Thank you for these answers too. Is there another question or comment or remark about? Yeah. So, if it is not the case, I will expect you tomorrow to meet our Minister of Defense, and maybe I will ask some people also, thanks to Robert, to meet you, some businessmen, and I will call them and try to get 5 minutes with you tomorrow in order to put concretely the expectations you have with the development of the country. So
let me thank you very much. We are serious about seeking investment in countries like Switzerland, because most often people talk about Chinese investment, yes, but we want to also see investment from people who have known Liberia for a long time, who have been friends of Liberia. We don't want our country to live on handout. We want investment. We have the opportunity. I want to encourage all of you to consider Liberia as an investment destination.
For the diversification also of the investment.
Yeah.
So, thanks. I think we have heard your message, Mr. Vice President. So thanks again for visiting us, and we wish you all the best in Switzerland, and hoping to have you as a president maybe next time. So we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay.